Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show, where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. If you're joining us for the first time, you are in for a treat. And if you're joining us you are for a second, third, or 100th time, you already know the kind of value that we bring here. And today I've got an incredible guest with me. We've got Shanne Carvalho. He is a general contractor, real estate broker. He's got over 30 years in the business, investing, flipping, finding money, doing deals. And we're super excited to get into our conversation today. Just remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted, to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. That being said, Shanne, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Steven. Excited to be here. It never gets old talking shop,
You bet, man. I could do it all day long. Sometimes I do. Man, I'm really excited to talk about today's topic a little bit. But before we get into that, I know we had some time to visit in the beginning, but could you give us a little background on you and how you got to where you're at today?
It's interesting. I grew up, my dad was a general contractor. So, I grew up helping the family business summers, after school, whatever, just, whenever he could get us out there, they started us young. They were Portuguese immigrants, hard workers. They wanted to really, make it here in this country. And then they wanted to push us to be hardworking as well. And so I really took interest in helping them. And, from high school, went to junior college, was helping them in the summers, running one of the crews. And, really took a love for it. But, I guess once you start getting into thinking about the future, I got a little more inspired to maybe take it further. But yeah, that's how I got my start.
That's awesome, man. So you were starting out as kind of the family business, essentially.
Right. So yeah, my brother took over. I'm sorry. I was going to say
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I have 3 younger brothers. The brother just below me in age, he took over when my dad retired about 16, 17 years ago. And then I segued, focused more on the real estate brokerage, the investment and the sales and out in the field. And he focused more on taking the construction company on. And then I ended up getting my license as well and getting my own company because he couldn't manage all the business we had.
Oh, wow. So, man, as a kid growing up and being taught those values, working hard, working early, it's not like you were, flipping burgers or serving soft serve at 15, 16, like you were doing hard work, right? So what developed your passion for the real estate business that made you want to keep on with it even after you grew up?
Well, it's interesting because I did transfer to university in San Jose in the Bay Area. I went to San Jose State. And so I had been working with, so I had, believe it or not, I worked with my dad, but then I also had a part-time job at the bank. And then I also had a part-time job at the golf course because I played on the golf team and I needed free golf privileges. And so I was a dishwasher at the golf course on weekends. And then I did the construction and then I had the bank. So when I transferred to college, to the university, I had to let the construction, I couldn't do that because I had to, it was an hour over the hill where I moved and I couldn't really do the golf course because I moved. So the bank transferred me. And so I was working part-time at the bank while going to college.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Upper division there at San Jose State. And this real estate broker came in one day, and well, he's come in all the time, but one day he's like, hey, you're always trying to sell me something. You should come and talk to me after work one of these days. I'd like to chat with you. Honestly, this old broker, like one day, just like, I was already interested in building and knew a little bit about maybe investing, but this one broker just opened my eyes to like, hey, why don't you get your real estate license? And I mean, I was 20 years old. I didn't really even know what real estate, licenses or, mortgage. I didn't really know any of that, but that's how it started. I mean, I met with him and he got me going on principles of real estate. And then, yeah, I mean, that's honestly what kicked off to really believing that I could place myself in that. And then it was weird. A short time after that, I know it's going to sound kind of cheesy, but I just, as I can, start on this journey and just kind of what I was putting together, I had this dream that someday I'd have like this empire, like this whole empire, like construction and real estate and lending and this team. It's weird. It actually started with this dream that someday I would have that. And it's weird because this then start falling into place and then you just believe it as you go. Like each thing that would happen, I had the confidence that it was part of the plan. But this is so weird because this is going to be really weird, but I had like deja vu. I was driving down this road by my house about maybe 6, 7 years ago, and that whole thing just came back to me. It was weird. It was just like, holy shit, this is something that I've been dreaming about or thinking about for many, many years. So I mean, that's what kicked it off.
Wow, I love that. I've had that same dream. It's very interesting. I relate to that a lot. Like as a kid, I wasn't the type of kid that when someone asked me what I wanted to do, that I was like, I want to be a doctor or whatever. Like I always had the dream, I wanted to be a superstar, right? Like I wanted to speak on stage, I wanted to help people, I wanted to do all those things. But I was that weird kid that at like 6 or 7, we'd like roll into a Chili's and I would ask my parents, like, do you think the people that own this place are millionaires? And like, no clue where that came from, and that led to me starting a little lawn care company when I was 10, bought my first riding lawnmower when I was 11, So I had a very interesting childhood where I always had this push of like, I want to be something great and have everything in life to enjoy. So, but I think, a lot of people maybe have that dream or some of the traps they fall into is they get stuck in the mindset or what they're taught by their own parents. Like my parents aren't crazy wealthy with a ton of assets necessarily, done well for themselves, but they they were like, hey, follow your dreams, but go to college, get a good job, work for 40 years for the same company like dad has, all that kind of stuff. And so I think a lot of people fall into that trap of having those big dreams but then falling off somewhere along the line. So what would you say has been something pivotal in your mindset that's kept you in building that dream, you didn't even realize it until you had it?
That's a good point. There's this, well, I guess kind of going on from after meeting with this guy, um, you know, like you go through these different stages. Like, you said you had this business you built and everything and you were young. And I
Sure.
mean, when I was 17, 18, I love fast cars. And
Yeah.
I still remember one day I was like, and there's this used luxury car dealership near home. I literally like was still living with my parents going to junior college, and I was obsessed with this red convertible Ferrari with brown leather, and I wanted this car. At 18, like I literally they were gonna bring it to our house so we could drive it for 3 days, and my parents got found out about this. Like, what are you doing? And I don't know how the heck they were actually gonna do this because I was only 18. But it's like I guess what I'm trying to say is like I started just I had these dreams that I knew were gonna cost the money. My parents thought I was insane, But
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
but they knew I had a relentless work ethic. I mean, I was kind of putting the cart before the horse because I was a little obsessed with mansions, fast cars, and all that early on. But I
Yeah.
became obsessed with at that time because, I graduated from high school in 1993, not to age myself, but so at that time, $100,000 a year was a lot of money, right?
Right.
So along with this car thing I wanted, one of my best friends, his brother-in-law, who happened to be half Portuguese, right? Because I'm full Portuguese, my parents are both immigrants, but happened to be half Portuguese. He was Mr. Cool. He worked for Bank of America. He did loans, drove this really cool BMW, had the best sunglasses. I mean, like we idolized this kid. Me and him would look up to this guy, right? Like we idolized him. And I was like, dang, I want to be able to, like, I envisioned I could be that guy making $100,000 a year, like in some kind of lending, real estate, something. And so I don't know. It's like you start. This is, I think, the beginning of having goals because people get into goals and late in their careers, right? Like setting goals. A lot of people don't set goals, but I think that was my first. I think it was one of the first steps in me setting a goal and then trying to figure out how can I get there. And so I think that what I mean, the best way to explain, to answer your question, sorry, it's a long answer, but what happened was this was realistic to me, and to the point where not only did I hit that goal, and I'm gonna skip a lot of stuff here because if not, I'll talk your ear off. But by 27 years old, I was making over $100,000 a month. Like this vision, this dream, I'll make $100,000 a year. It was like money was a big driver early on in the career, right? That shifted a lot, and I know we can talk about that later. But I mean, early on, it was that drive for money and success. I have a relentless, like I am relentless. Like I always have been. Like I'm probably one of the hardest working people you ever meet, right? Like I might not be the smartest guy, the best guy, the top guy, whatever, but I will out hustle, outwork anybody. I am relentless. Like if I commit to something, it's gonna happen. Like there is no like, not. And I mean, now even after the last couple of years, because I've gone through some stuff, I hit a new level in my life that I didn't even know existed. It's like you find another gear. So it's like
Mm.
if I guess the best way to put it is that I don't give up. I don't quit. Um, we're all human. We go through stuff. In 2015, I was out in the Azores Islands off the coast of Portugal. I usually go visit. We have a house there and stuff and have family. But I went for a month and I was by myself. My folks weren't even there. I was kind of having kind of not a midlife crisis, but it's like I was doing well in my real estate career, but I wasn't really satisfied where I was at and where things were going. 2015, I mean, it's what, 10 years ago. And it's interesting because there's different points in your career. That's just one example I just thought of, but there's different points along your journey where you get a little bored or just kind of like you want the bigger game. It's like I've conquered this. This used to be the vision, but
The
now you
flash
conquered
wears
this.
off.
Dude, it's like I live for this fucking excitement. Like, like I played a little professional poker years ago and just like I'm like really like I love action. I love excitement. And so it's like I'm always looking for the bigger game. And so I just kept leveling up in my industry, in my career. I wanted to know everything about what I did, around what I did, how I could do better, how I could get bigger, how I could do more. And it you just can't quit or just like I don't know, I don't if things are not quite what you want, you just keep pushing, find the next level. But I've always been in that same industry, you know.
Right. You said something in there that was really just profound to me personally, because I think most people, well, I don't think, I know most people never taste 100 grand a month, right? I mean, to your point, there's still even almost a mindset that hasn't shifted from the 90s, where like 100 grand a year is still the American dream, and it's like back then you're right, like that used to be a lot of money to most people. But you were making 100 grand a month by 27. So when did you realize, like in along that journey, when did you realize 100 grand a year wasn't enough? And when you were making 100 grand a year at 27, what was that feeling like when you had made that?
Well, what's crazy is we would get paid twice a month. I was doing mortgages at the time, the brokerage I was at. We get paid twice a month. And I mean,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I get these checks for 30, 40, 50, 60,000 twice a month. And it was surreal, honestly. It was like there was an extra zero there. It completely changed the game. I wasn't even, how do I say this? It wasn't that I was just working hard. It wasn't that 100,000 a year wasn't enough. It was just that I was driven to get to my goal as fast as I could. And I was really good at what I was doing, and I was making good money. I honestly, what I started to learn quickly was that a couple things. One, I've always been humble. I don't even like to share a lot of these types of numbers, but I've always been humble. I've always been hardworking. Obviously, when your parents are immigrants and stuff, you come to this country, you were never handed anything. You always worked for everything. It's like I always believed in humility, and a lot of the clients I served at that time were people that were immigrants as well, or people that, I mean, I'm trilingual. I speak Portuguese, English, and Spanish. I mean, those people I was helping in Portuguese and Spanish. They didn't even speak English yet. And so it's like I was always very humble. And I mean, I realized that in 2 weeks, I made more than a lot of these people made in a whole year. And so it was very life changing to when you get to that point. It was also something that could be very dangerous. I knew people that started making money that were just blowing it on drugs and cars and parties and trips, all this stuff. I invested everything into real estate, invested into my retirement, I mean, I actually was very responsible. Like, sure, I buy a couple nice things here and there. It's okay to go on vacation or whatever, but I was very responsible. But I was also very much about money's never changed me. It's never changed who I am. I've always loved to give back, to donate, to do everything I do. It was very surreal when I got to that moment. And the thing is, though, is that you hear this all the time, like Super Bowl champs, how hard it is to repeat. How when you win something big, right? Like you lose that. You kind of like when you finally get to that big goal, it's hard to do it again, right? You hear that all the time in professional sports, right? It's almost impossible to repeat because it's like there's this big rush to get to the top, and then you get there. It's like it took so much to get there that you lose that energy to keep it going. But I found a way to sustain, but then what drove me is getting to the next level. And so I think that's one of the reasons that I've been able to continually stay focused and continue to elevate is because of the fact that I have this relentless pursuit to be the best person I can be and not comparing yourself to other people. Because sure, your clients and the people around you, hardly anybody was making that kind of money. But I learned early on that my competition is with myself, not with anybody else. And when people say, "Oh yeah, great job, you're a top producer," because look, I mean, I've been a top producer like my whole life really, and it's not, I mean, it's not because it was just handed to me or because it's no, it's essentially because I worked for it. But it's also when you say top producer, like, you acknowledge, the respect or whatever people give you. But I make it really clear, and I try not to say this to people because then it sounds like you're cocky, but it's like I'm not, just because I'm doing better than other people around me, that doesn't mean that I'm doing well. That doesn't make me all of that. Because honestly, even now in my career, I know I've never hit more than 50% of my capacity. And I'm careful to say that because that also can sound very cocky or but it's not because I don't work hard. It's because my mind is always going, I always want to do these different things. I'm always, look at how many things I'm involved in. It's like, if I just took the one thing and just went one line, just like, oh yeah, just come to sell real estate, I'm going to go to the top. Yeah, I probably hit 70, 80, 90% of my capacity. But being an entrepreneur, you're constantly distracted by these great ideas and these different projects. And so it's never allowed me to fully get to where I want to be. And so what I've done over the last couple of years, I've narrowed the focus to be better and be more at the capacity. So anyway, I didn't mean to run away with that one.
No, that's all great. We're all, I know myself, but I know anybody listening to this right now is getting a ton of value from this. And so when you were hitting those big months, getting paid twice a month, so that was just to be clear, so that way people can kind of understand. That was specifically when you were still selling mortgages, like as a loan officer. Is that fair to say,
I
or
was a mortgage broker. I actually
mortgage
worked
broker?
for a brokerage. Yeah, I never did work for a bank. I did know a lot of LOs that made decent money, but as a mortgage broker, you just work with a lot of different banks. You had a lot of different options, and I would work, purchase, refinance, veterans, all of it. Like I was
Right.
very diverse with my practice.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Do you think that, but obviously working hard was a huge piece of your success. Do you think having the ability to speak as many languages as you did also kind of set you apart to tap into markets that otherwise people can't serve?
I think early on, at the beginning of my career, it was a very big part of it because
Mm,
where I grew up, those were the languages spoken, and that was a lot of the population. I grew up in a
right.
farm worker type community with, predominantly, immigrants from Mexico. Obviously, a lot of Portuguese people too that I grew up with, or family or people that were other immigrants and such. And so, speaking those languages really helped me tap in to work with them. And so I
Yeah.
think that was especially helpful. The languages obviously helped me too, working with the contractors and everybody else. I mean, it's being proficient in languages in markets you're in, huge advantage for sure. Huge
Yeah.
advantage.
100%. So, because one of the things you mentioned was you were responsible with your money though too, right? Because you said something specific in that monologue where you mentioned, people would get some money, they'd go and blow it. And you said change. I don't think money necessarily changes who somebody is. It rather exemplifies who they are. So if you're stingy and you're poor, you're still going to be stingy when you're rich, right? And if you blow everything when you're poor, you're still going to do it when you're rich too, which is why somebody can make $1 million a year and still spend 1 million too, right? Um,
Good point.
so,
Yeah.
but how important has that personal development been to you on this journey of leveling up over the years?
Well, the thing is that I guess I was an old spirit at a young age.
Mm,
But at the same token, one of the problems that's come along with that is that, when people are successful at making money, you kind of attract a lot of people. You don't
sure.
always attract the right crowd. Like think about some of these professional athletes that maybe they're not so good buddies are around trying
Yeah.
to get what they can. And so because I'm very generous and I've always been, just I don't know, like I don't burn anybody. Like I've never like not paid somebody or screwed anybody. Like I've just never operated that way. And
Mm,
so I have this filter that that's how everybody is. Well, later in my career, what's happened is that I've actually gotten burned, and I've gotten burned mainly by people that are close to me, which is sad.
mm,
I've gotten burned for millions of dollars. I mean, I've had some setbacks. I had a very costly divorce 15 years ago. And then after that, I got burned by, one of my best friends. It was a lender. We worked together, did a lot of deals, a lot of investments, a lot of flips. We worked close together for 12 years. He burned me for a
wow.
lot. And it's so I've been learning lessons later in life that I didn't realize I was going to learn. And so the responsibility and how I handle things has never changed. What's changed now is, and I don't want to change who I am. I don't want to let bad experiences or bad people change who I am or how I am. I've just gotten a lot better. Like even with my attorney, like it's like we're more proactive about making sure our contracts are solid, being really good with details, really like having contracts and not being so trusting. It's sad, but because I'm a handshake guy, right? Like, hey, bro, here, it's like whatever. Like that's it can't be that way in today's world. And so my
Right.
operations manager has been with me for a long time too. She looks out for me. My whole team looks out for me. But you know, later in life, the setbacks haven't been from changing the habits of how you manage money. I've always been aggressive in taking risk, and most of the time, I've been successful with taking risks. Sometimes you lose, but that's just part of the game.
Right.
But my biggest losses or my biggest problems financially have come from just mishandling contracts or just being too trusting, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's been it's I never saw that coming, but like I said, I guess it's more life lessons, you can't
Sure.
expect that everybody's going to operate the way you do. There's a lot of people that, and money's one of those things that'll do it to people too, right? So,
Right. You ever seen that movie from the early 2000s, the Italian Job with Mark Wahlberg in
oh
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I love what the old man says, and it's like in the beginning scenes of the movie after they pull the heist off, and they're out there talking right before Steve, shafts them out of the whole deal because he got greedy, right? And I'm just like you in the sense I'm a handshake kind of guy. like
Hmm.
very, very trusting, and trust has gotten me burned in some situations. And so now I'm kind of the same way in the sense of like making sure whenever I have contracts going out, like even if it's as simple as like I'm giving you $5, like, hey, I'm gonna give you $5. Here's when you're paying it back. You know what I mean? But I love the line from that movie where the old man looks at Mark Wahlberg and he says, I trust everyone, I just don't trust the devil inside them.
You know what? I forgot about that. That's a good point. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, no, I love
That
that movie.
that's the single one line from any movie that's stuck with me throughout the years that I relate to more than any other movie quote is as I trust everyone, I
I
just
gotta
don't
write
trust the
that
devil
one.
inside them.
I gotta write that one down. I actually had totally forgotten about that.
It's a great
Totally.
line.
Yeah.
Um, So, but it's like anything, there's three different types of people in the world. You have the givers, you have the matchers, and you have the takers, right? Like you have the people that are willing to give, that want to give, that their primary modus of operanda is to give, right? And then you have the people that are taking, and they're always going to take, and they might seem
Mhm.
like they're great people, but they're always going to take. And then you have the
Right.
people that are only going to give when you give, right? And so I don't know. I'm not saying any of those are necessarily wrong or that you should. I mean, some of them maybe you want to avoid them, right? But I just try to focus myself on just always being as much of a giver as possible. And you talked a little bit about that as well. How important is giving to you, giving back, and as you've created success for yourself, what does that look like for you now?
It's interesting, even in tough times, I've never stopped giving,
Mm,
and it's interesting because I'm just built that way. I
yeah.
was going through a hard time. Obviously I've been through some hard times in the last few years with some of the stuff I told you, but I was going through a hard time a while back, and I remember I shouldn't have even been going to Pete's Coffee or get coffee because it's financially that gets expensive too. But I was going to the coffee shop. I pulled up, and there's this homeless guy sitting against the wall next to the door. I literally gave him the last $20 bill I had in my wallet. And the
Mm,
reason I'm saying that right now is not to get any kind of accolades from anyone. It's just for some reason that stuck in my mind. It reminded me like we are creatures of habit and we are the way we are, right? Like if you're real, like if you're giving or whatever it is that you do, if you're real with yourself, it like here's the thing is you don't change who you are. Like, you know what I mean? There's certain things about you. This is who I am. And regardless of what happens or what you're going through, if you're true to yourself, you're always that way, right? So
mm,
that just has always stayed with me because I could use that $20, but
sure.
that's just an example of, I guess, that's just one of those moments that really clearly says like that's who I am. Like when they say, "Oh yeah, this guy will give you a shirt off his back," that's who I've always been. But one thing that I do consistently is there's certain charities I really support, and ironically, one of them is Jacob's Heart, which is this children's cancer um, organization who helps so many families here
Mm,
in my area, and they're up and down the state, and they're known across the country as one of like the most amazing groups. And they just had a big event recently. They do all these different events and I always attend. And I've been supporting them for probably over 15 years. Probably one of the charities I support the most. Um, and it's interesting because it's childhood cancer, which I never encountered. Our family doesn't have a lot of cancer. We have other health issues, but it's ironic because 2.5 years ago I ended up with cancer, which I've beaten it. But it was just interesting because it made me realize after what I went through, it made me realize even more how hard it must be for the kids and the parents and the family going through all that. So that's like, I mean, I've always consistently given or been part of that, but that's just, it really hit me after I went through it. And now when I go to the events and stuff, like I'm even more passionate because it's like, holy shit, now I've had that experience, right? Because it's like, I constantly give and donate to different events and charities, whatever. And it's all things I believe in or whatever. But what I've started to realize now later in life is that, man, I am really starting to connect with some of these things. Like this connection with this was unreal. And I got lucky that I found cancer early and I beat it. But I almost feel like it's like almost like a gift from God for giving. Like, because I always feel like whether it's like helping your clients or, helping other agents in the business or other investors or whatever, it's like I've always believed that, you just bless people and you always have your own blessings. Like you always just, the more you bless people, the more your life will be good. And as a mentor, because I do mentor agents, as a mentor to agents, one thing I've always said, which I've always lived by is don't worry about the money, just take care of people and you'll always be fine. I've always said that. I've always lived that. I've always believed in that. And that's so true. I mean, absolutely 100% true. I don't give to receive, so I don't want that to be taken the wrong way either. But I'm just saying, it's like, just take care of people. You're always going to be fine. And I've lived that.
Wow, man, you've created massive financial success. You've beat cancer. Is there anything you haven't done?
I will not jump off of planes, bridges, or any of that stuff. I think that if the only way I'm jumping off anything is if the plane's going to crash. Yeah, so I'm not trying to get sentimental on you, but no, honestly, for me, I think that what's changed, the needle's moved over the career is, yeah, I want to make money and be successful and be well off, but it's, especially when you go through cancer, I think you start to value life even more, life itself, or the experiences. Because I think that, like, for me, early in my career, it's like I'm just gonna hustle, work, 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 and then when I get there, then I'll enjoy life, right? And I realize that there's not really a there. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's
Mm,
not when you get there. Like, you have to enjoy the journey. I didn't learn to enjoy the journey till recently because it's always like, oh, I gotta hustle because I gotta get there. There might not ever be a there for some people, right? And then a lot of times you think there's the there, but then you want more. Like,
mm,
when's it enough? When do you stop? Like, when do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm relentless. Like, I won't quit. Like, when am I gonna just one day I'm gonna wake up and be like, you know what? I'm gonna retire now. Like, in what we do for a living and investment, real estate, all this stuff, it's fun. Like, honestly, it's hard. Sure, it's working, whatever. But dude, I never get up and be like, oh shit, I have to deal with real estate there. Oh, fuck that. Sorry, dropping off phones. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, I get up, like, I'm fired up every day. I get up at 5 to get my workout in and just let's go. Like, what's the day gonna bring? And so it's like, I don't envision waking up one day like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go fishing and go to the golf course. Like, I love golf and I love fishing. I'm an avid fisherman. I'm a good golfer. I even played golf in high school and college. Like, no, I'm just making that generalization about people always talking about their retirement. What are you gonna go do? I think that just like I said, I mean, some things have changed about what success is and what really brings you happiness and what's important. And I mean, our family's close, our family's tight. I have brothers that live across the country and have other cousins and stuff spread out, but obviously you live for family. I have one daughter. It's like I know what my priorities are and I know why, I know my why and everything, but I think that what shifted is trying to enjoy the journey more while being successful. And so I'm
mm.
starting to take more time out for myself, trying to do more trips and just trying to really enjoy each day for what it is versus keeping this vision that enjoyment comes there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, we're coming up on the end of our time, but I want to ask you one last question here with this is incredible to me because what we talked about in the beginning versus what we ended up doing the show on, two completely different things. And I feel like this is such a nice break in maybe our regularly scheduled programming of just talking about deals and this and that and whatever. Not that any show that we do and publish isn't a great show, but this has gotten like real in a way that I didn't expect it to in the beginning, right? And so
I'm very
knowing
transparent. Sorry.
knowing
Go
what
ahead.
you know now versus if you could go back to the beginning of your journey when you got started, right? Maybe not when you were kind of forced into it, as a kid or whatever, but like if you could go back with all the knowledge and all the things that you've taken, all the challenges, lessons, getting burned, the wins, making money, all of that stuff, if you could go back and do something, go back and start over, but you had all of that to your advantage starting from scratch, what would you do different and what would you do the same?
Well, I think different would be to not get distracted, to stay very focused. Because when you are successful and people get drawn in, oh, you should put money in this, or you should do that, or you should do this, you should do that. I think that, because I have my entrepreneurial spirit, right? Like, I'm just so much of an entrepreneur. It's like you get excited about these ideas, right? Like, look, good salespeople are a sucker for a good pitch. There's no denying that. And so getting distracted, I think, from the journey, because keep in mind, like, yeah, top producer done really well, but keep in mind your top producer being compared to your peers. Like,
Mm,
when I say I haven't hit my capacity, I haven't hit my capacity because I've kept myself spread in too many different directions. So I think that one thing for sure that I would change is I would really focus on going long in the main part of the journey, staying very focused and starting with day one database, your sphere, your contacts, staying in touch, keeping all the information, staying connected, continuing to network and build the organization. I didn't really start building my database till 8 years ago. I've been in the business for 30 years. Can you imagine what my business and my reach would be like if I had really managed, and because I'm just go, go, go. It's not that I don't want to, it's just I wasn't organized. Like I'm a salesperson. I'm not on the back end all organized with all that stuff. So I think being very focused and being very intentional from day one is something that I would change. As far as the same, I think that the way I've done business from day one, even during the real estate boom when people were doing shady stuff and ripping people off and everything else, I always took care of clients from day one. I mean, nobody's perfect. I mean, I look back on a couple situations where maybe I acted a little selfishly. It's like nobody's perfect, but overall, always having the intention of taking care of people from day one and working hard, and trying to be the best I could be. I wouldn't change that. And the experiences, even I mean, honestly, like even the bad shit that's happened, like I know it sounds crazy now, but like or to say, but it's like I'm glad I've gone through the stuff I've gone through. It's completely changed my life. And this last year, after cancer and all this other stuff that happened, like I said earlier, I found this new level that I didn't even know existed. Like this level of commitment, determination, and being unshakable, like not being rattled. With everything going on in this world, all this stuff about politics and markets and interest rates, all this noise. There's all this noise going on, and people are like get even upset with me. Well, what's going on? I'm like, I'm taking care of me, the people around me, my team. Like I'm just hustling while everybody's all worried about all this stuff. I'm just out there hustling, and so I think that that's one thing that I would continue to do if I started over is just always be like it's not about like I'm not gonna sit here and be a product of my environment. I'm always gonna be on my own. Like I don't give a shit what people think. I was so focused on that before. You'll never make everybody happy. You're never Not everybody's gonna like you. And the more successful you are, the less people are gonna like you. Just get used to it. Unfortunately it's a human thing to have jealousy or have this not wanting people to be successful. So, I think that I wouldn't change the fact that I'm gonna, work hard and just be determined and just be unshakable in that aspect. But I also wouldn't change the lessons along the way because I was like this to a certain extent early on, but now it's on another level. Come hell or high water, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to make it. I'm not going to quit. Nothing's ever going to take me off course. Bad things happen. You take them in, you process them, you keep going. We lost a team member about 3 months ago. That was hard, and out of respect, you respect, what you need to do, but you don't let that take you down. I mean, people are dying and being born every day. And some people are in our circle. You just had a baby. You know how it is. It's the circle of life, right? It's like, if we want to get hung up on every bad news, every plane crash, every like interest rate, this, every that, how you ever going to live? You know what I mean? So those lessons help me become like just unshakable. I mean, very compassionate. I'm very compassionate. I'm not like, I'm not one of these cold hardened people, but I'm just saying the lessons I would still take again because they were painful, but they created who I am now. And the next 10 years is going to be the best 10 years of my life, guaranteed.
And Shanne, thanks for joining us today. If anyone wants to learn more about you or what you're working on, where should they go?
Oh, I'm always happy to connect. I mean, you're welcome to share my cell phone, but yeah, I mean, I've been trying to be better on social media, like Shanne Carvalho RE team on, Instagram is kind of like the main page that we run a lot of stuff on or communicate with a lot of clients and stuff on. But I mean, I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube and I still have Facebook. Like I pretty much everywhere online, but I'm always happy to, take calls or texts or emails. I'm always happy to talk to people. I love networking, connecting people. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. People reach out, hey, I need this or I need that. I'm a connector. Like I love networking. So yeah, definitely reach out anyone that would like to.
I love it. You heard it here, folks. It's Shanne Carvalho Real Estate Team. Is that what you said?
It's Shanne Carvalho RE and then team. There's like a couple underscores in there.
RE Team. Awesome. Well, go drop him a follow, y'all. Shanne Carvalho RE Team. And everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's show. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.